DJ Metal Craig of Craig's Metal Storm here, and I have one of the members of Rat Rod with me today. Hey, how's it going? Would you like to introduce yourself and what position you do in the band?
Well, hello. Thanks for having me. My name is Mark McCarty. I am the lead guitar player of Rat Rod.
Please go back in the history of Rat Rod and how the band all got started.
Okay, well, sure. That started with us in the fall of 2016. I had been sitting around for about a year writing music, just not doing much. Our lead singer Mike Smith had been wanting to put together a band, much like what we are now, and was talking to some friends and whatnot. And we had a mutual friend that mentioned to me, and we got together, and I played him some of the stuff I was doing. He dug what I was doing. He took some back with him, and or I sent him a couple tracks, and he worked on some lyrics, and I liked how he sounded on the stuff, and we just went from there. Started writing tunes. I had some tunes I'd already written prior to him joining, him and I getting together. So I gave him those, and before you know it, we've got ourselves 9 original tracks. We thought we should put these out. So we decided, well, if we're going to put them out, we better call ourselves something. So we were brainstorming, and he came up with the term Rat Rod because I'm a car nut as well as being a musician. I love old cars. So he thought that was kind of cool, and I thought it sounded cool. So that was what we called ourselves. So we put this first batch of tunes out under Rat Rod, and it was just really just like a flag in the ground in 2017. This is what we did in this year. That quickly turned into the desire of wanting to play the stuff live. So we figured we better get a bunch of guys together and make a band out of the thing. And then the first one in that fold was my son, Bryce. He started out playing drums with us. And then we were going to look for another guitar. We got a bass player. We got LJ, who is our current bass player. He jumped on bass. Bryce was on drums. I was on guitar. We were going to look for a second guitar player, a lead player, and I was just going to play rhythm because I enjoy that position a lot too. Couldn't find anybody that we really clicked with. So my son Bryce is actually a really good guitar player as well. So we said, hey, why don't you move over to guitar and we'll find ourselves a drummer? And he says, well, I know somebody. I said, well, okay, perfect. So that was Elliot Howard, our original drummer. So that completed the lineup, and we were off to the races.
Right on, man. Just so you know, this next one's a little bit of a tricky one to answer, but a good one that I asked the bands. How did you guys come up with the band name Rat Rod?
Okay, so yeah, like I said a moment ago, Mike and I were just brainstorming names, throwing about different ideas, and he had just, I don't know if he read it or heard it or something, but he come up with the name Rat Rod. He shot me a phone call and says, hey, I got a perfect name for a band. He said it. I dwelled on it for like maybe 10, 15 seconds, and I went, cool. And that was that. The name was Rat Rod. And then about 3 or 4 months later, once we completely settled on it, I'd started the paperwork and actually trademarked it with the U.S. Patent Office. So it is officially trademarked as a rock and roll band named Rat Rod.
Right on, man. That's so awesome. Who designed the Rat Rod band logo?
The logo was designed by Mike's brother. His brother designed the logo and does a lot of our logo designs and a lot of our flyers for our shows and stuff. He's quite an accomplished graphic artist, so he came up with that. So yeah.
I didn't know that his brother was an artist. That's so cool, man.
Yep, definitely.
Man. What are the band's immediate music career goals?
The goals are, we got big time goals. We got long term goals, and we got short term goals. The short term goals is to continue playing new places, expanding out, getting farther and farther out from our Philadelphia home base, which we've done really well down in Maryland, down near Baltimore. We've done really good down there. We're starting to spread out farther north towards New York City and parts farther west. So that's short-term goal, is to just get farther and farther out as far as playing live, as far as out on the road, that sort of thing. Getting the music to more and more places, getting more and more people to hear the music. I know these are kind of like platitudes, but um, just to continue the growth that we've had very steady growth over the past 6 years, and we just want to continue that. Long term, big time goals or large goals that are maybe not visually attainable yet, but they're possible, and that is to get on the big festivals in Europe and play the big shows over there. Um, None of us know exactly the mechanism to get that done yet, but those are long term goals we have.
Okay, and this is going to get you. I hope when you guys get on tour again, you come up to Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada for a show at some point.
Would love to. Would
I
love.
actually live up there.
Yeah. In fact, I know this is not the same province. There's a band that I'm really into out of British Columbia, out of Kelowna, British Columbia. They're called The Wild. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not, but they're phenomenal. I love those guys.
No,
So
I don't think I have heard of them, buddy.
you should definitely check them out. They're really cool. They're in our. I won't say they're in our wheelhouse. I'd say we're kind of in their style, in that 3/4 rock and roll. They got sort of somewhat of at times a southern vibe a little bit, but just really cool. So I bring that up because if we played your direction, I would love to be on a show with them or something. I think that'd be killer.
I get you there. And for this next question, who are the band's musical influences?
Okay. Um, we all have varying influences. So from a musician standpoint, boys in the room playing music or on stage playing music, Kiss is the common thread for all five of us. We're all huge Kiss fans. So that's the common thread. When you talk to each one of us, we'll tell you different people or different artists from there. I'm a huge 70s hard rock fan, the 70s era AC/DC, Bon Scott era AC/DC, um, Rose Tattoo, the Angels. These are Australian bands, if you're not quite familiar. Um, Ted Nugent, Aerosmith. Those are the bands, the rock in the hard rock fraternity that I'm really into. I also go back before that. I'm a huge Elvis fan. I'm a huge Chuck Berry fan and Little Richard and the original Godfathers of rock and roll. I'm hugely into. I love the Who, but I also have there's a deep root of traditional country music in me as well. Johnny Cash and Merle Haggard and artists of that nature as well. Pardon me. Um, LJ, our bass player, he's big into the Wild Hearts and let's see, Michael Monroe and um, folks of that nature. Cheap Trick, he's a huge Cheap Trick fan. Um, Mike is Mike is our vocalist. He's into a lot of the same sort of things I'm into. He likes a lot of the '80s rock as well. Bryce is into the more heavier stuff, along with the classic stuff that I like. He likes the newer, heavier music, the metal. And Harry's one of Harry, our drummer's bigger influences is Nico McBrain from Iron Maiden. He loves Iron Maiden a lot, and a lot of progressive stuff, Dream Theater and um, Fates Warning. I love Fates Warning as well. So we have a broad scope of influences, even though our music is pretty straight ahead 3/4 rock and roll. That's the touchstone. That's what comes out of me naturally. But our influences are broad.
Right on. For myself, I'm into some influences like Maiden, Priest, Old Sabbath, Odd Years, and Dio Years. Then I'm into stuff like Deicide, Cannibal Corpse, Faith No More, Fear Factory. I even go into black metal bands like Make a Change, Kill Yourself, and other stuff like that. I'm a
Sure.
very diverse musician myself. On top of the DJing, I have my own band that's going.
Cool. What's the name of your band?
It's called Flesh Degradation. It's a death metal act.
Nice. What do? You play guitar?
Vocals.
Your vocals. Nice.
Yeah,
Very
I do the harsh vocals.
nice. I never could do that. I don't know how you guys do that. It's so amazing.
Prove it to you.
Wow. That's killer, man.
I've been doing that since I was 16. Haven't blown out my voice yet.
I don't know how you do it, man. After one night of doing backup vocals with us, I'm shot in the ass. I don't know how. So I can't imagine doing how you guys do it.
For this next question, does the band have any band gear endorsements?
We do have or I have a pick endorsement through Steve Clayton Guitar Picks. I've had it for years. I actually got it when I was doing AC/DC tributes years and years ago, and I've just been able to keep the endorsement. It's not a full ride; it's a discount endorsement, but still an endorsement. But as far as the others, not yet. That's another thing that would be worth building up to. Is getting some gear endorsements.
Okay, for myself, I'm hoping to get endorsed by Shure Microphones when my band gets going. Try and get an endorsement through them of their mics.
Yeah, absolutely. The 58, both the 57 and 58 are just the gold standard for microphones when it comes to just good all-purpose microphones.
I use an 87A beta cardioid condenser mic for myself.
Nice.
That thing's sick.
Yep. I forget which model it is off the top of my head because I don't have that stuff memorized, but I got a Shure right over there. It's the standard.
I can see it in the background.
Yeah, you can see it over there. Like I
said, it looks like a large diaphragm to me.
What's that?
It looks like a large diaphragm mic to me.
Yeah, I think it is. Like I said, I you would think I'd have that model just etched in my brain, but I know what I like, but I don't necessarily commit to the names of the models and that sort of thing. So, but it's the same mic that everybody uses for like podcasts or vocals. It's one of those go-to mics for vocals nowadays. I'm not sure.
Sorry, I accidentally cut you off there as you were talking, buddy. I was going to ask the next question, and we have a little lag on the connection over here on my side. Oops.
All right, no worries, man.
Technology. With Rat Rod's 4 on the Floor being out as of November 18th, 2022, where can the album be ordered?
It can be ordered I don't want to say everywhere, but many places. Starting, of course, with your typical iTunes and or Apple Music and YouTube Music, Amazon, all the normal streaming places. You can download it or you can buy it. You can also buy it hard copy through Target, through Walmart. Let's see. Where else can you go online stores and get it? You name it, just about any online store you can get a physical copy of it sent to you. There's also a lot of mom and pop record stores throughout North America, not just the US, but North America, that you could go and you could order the record. I'm sure that they're probably not on the shelf because that's a risk for a small record store to pick up a bunch of CDs and just hold on to for a band that's little known, if not unknown. So, but you can order them for sure. Or you can order them from our website. RatRodRocks.com will point you towards our band store and get it from us too.
This next one's a really good one. Who designed the album art for 4 on the Floor?
Who designed the album art? Well, I will take credit for the concept of it and the original photograph. My wife will take credit for actually making it art worthy because she's a graphic artist as well. So she's the one that actually made it worthy of an album cover. I'm going to throw a question back at you. Do you recognize by chance what it is?
No, I don't recognize what it is because the album art, I didn't have a chance to look at it, but I did jam the album before the interview, and the album's absolutely sick and awesome.
Well, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Well, if you get a chance to take a look at the art, you'll see that it's a little abstract. A lot of cool lines in it and different little passageways, if you will. It is actually a photograph of a part out of a transmission out of my car. And I took the photograph when I was building the transmission. I took it just so I would remember where some of the parts went. So it was just a typical color picture. And I looked at it and went, man, that looks like a piece of art. So I started playing around with color. And I got some red in it, and it really looked cool. I threw some yellow in it, and it looked even better. This is just on my phone, just on my iPhone. And I showed my wife, and she was like, yeah, I can do something with that. So she took it and turned it into a piece of art. Yeah, but it started out as just a functional photograph, so I wouldn't lose parts.
Cool, man. And if you're okay with it, can we talk about my favorite song off the album?
Sure.
What were the themes and concepts behind the song, Hella Ride?
What was the question again about Hell or Ride?
Themes and concepts behind the song Hell or Ride.
Themes and concepts. Well, the song started out as just music. It's actually the oldest song on the record in terms of when we created the music. We were just jamming one rehearsal in 2019. And one of the things I do is whenever an idea comes, I grab my phone, I hit video, and I record it. So this was just a riff, the guitar riff. I just fell into how you do sometimes. You pick up guitar and play whatever comes to mind, even if you're not really thinking it happens. And that riff came to mind or came out, and LJ threw the bass on it. Elliot at the time threw his drums on it, and I just recorded it, captured it. Boom. Just put it away. When we sat down to start thinking about songs for our next album, but Four on the Floor, I went ahead and arranged that into an actual bona fide song and sent it to Mike, because that's how we typically write. I'll arrange the music and send it to him, and he'll sit down and see what it makes him feel like. And then he'll write lyrics based on how it makes him feel. So what made him feel was this celebration of accomplishment, or celebration of, it's been a great run, a great ride. And I said, yeah, it sounds like it was a hell of a good time. He went, hell of a ride. I went, there you go. So that was the title. And then the first verse is about, him, I guess you could say, celebrating where he's at currently in music and how it got him through things. And the second verse is really about that certain young lady out there that apparently she was a hell of a ride.
That's cool, man. Just so you know, we got 4 more for the interview, and then we are going to need a couple of station IDs from you.
Absolutely.
The fourth last question of the interview is, do you have any social media outlets the band can be reached on?
Oh, yes, of course. So we're on Facebook. Just go Rat Rod Rocks. Facebook.com/Rat Rod Rocks. We are on Instagram. Same thing. Instagram, Rat Rod Rocks. We're on YouTube. We are, eagerly trying to build up our YouTube presence. So anybody and everybody, go to our YouTube. You've got a whole fistful of videos. Basically, it's our discography all the way from the beginning to current in video form. Everything we've done pretty much is up there. So we'd love a like, follow, and share. You know how that goes. So those are the main socials. Of course, we got Spotify. I would love for everybody to follow us on Spotify. Link, like, share, subscribe. The same thing there. We're on Pandora for whoever listens to Pandora. So yeah, you can just about see us everywhere. You just got to seek us out a little bit. Best usually is to search Rat Rod Band or Rat Rod Rocks, or search for one of the song names when it comes to like the music streaming sites, or if you're doing a flat out Google search, because if you Google search Rat Rod, you'll probably find us, but you'll probably find a bunch of old Rat Rod cars first. We didn't think that one through too well.
Nice, man. Just so you know, this next one is a really good one. Who does the main amount of the writing for Rat Rod? Is it just one person, or is it a joint effort?
Well, that is kind of subdivided. What happens usually, this has been the track record of past 3 studio records we've done. Riffs will come in. Mike will come up with a riff because he plays a little bit of guitar. Bryce will come up with a riff and I'll record it on the phone. Or I'll come up with a riff and record it on the phone. I'll compile all of these riffs together and I'll arrange them into a basic demo. Verse, chorus, bridge, whatever it feels like. I do enough. I can play enough drums to put a beat together. I play bass as well. So I put together a loose demo, never with the intention of what I play be permanent. It's just my interpretation. I'll send it to Mike, and most of the time he'll write lyrics for it and sing it, and then I'll get it back and I'll make a formal demo out of it. And we work out of Google Drive, so I'll put it up on the drive and everybody can listen to it and get their vibe for it. And we'll get in a room and we'll just start playing it. And that's when Harry does his drumming and LJ does his bass playing and Bryce does his guitar playing in their way, then it becomes a Rat Rod song. So it becomes a collaboration at that point. But it pretty much always starts that way. I've written a few lyrics here and there, Mike is a far superior lyric writer to me, so I let him carry out those duties. But sometimes I'll come up with the titles, like Cars, Guitars, and Rock and Roll was my title. I'd come up with that. I had written lyrics for it, but his lyrics are so much better, so we use those. But that's pretty much how it works. It starts with a riff, and I'll cultivate that riff into a song, or at least a song structure.
Please give some advice for starting up bands to get their name out there.
Well, we're still working on that ourselves. But just do these things. Never turn down an interview. Never turn down an opportunity to talk about yourself. It might feel a little weird to talk about yourself because a lot of us musicians are kind of introverted in a way and maybe not comfortable in that realm, but it's important. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to let people know that you believe in yourself because it starts with you. So put yourself out there, play a show, play every show. Don't turn down a show. Get on the social medias and post and comment to people and interact with people. Get video out. Do live video on the socials like Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Just do whatever you can to get yourself in front of people and let them know you're there, because there's just so much talent out there that it's very easy to get overlooked because there's always somebody a little louder, a little better, a little cleaner, whatever. You just got to keep pushing, keep putting yourself out there, and get yourself a good team around you too.
I'm going to sneak in one more question because we still have a little bit of time left. Please give some guitar tips or advice for starting out guitarists.
Oh, that's a cool question. I've never been asked that one before. I like that. Advice. Find somebody who is a better player than you and shadow them. Get in a band with musicians that are better than you. That's going to make you a better player because you're going to have to keep up and you're going to learn from these better players. That's what I did. Find somebody, a teacher if you want or whatever, that is willing to show you some things that you don't know, even if it's songs that you like that you just can't quite figure out yourself. YouTube is awesome. YouTube is awesome for that. And there's a lot of kids and young people today that learn their craft that way. But there's nothing that takes away from being in the room with somebody else and that interaction back and forth and being able to hear it straight up. And as far as, like, I don't know if we want to talk about gear or not, but you don't have to spend a lot of money to have a good guitar. There's a lot of well-made, lower-priced guitars out there to begin with. Obviously, at the end of the day, everybody wants a beautiful, high-priced guitar, usually, but you don't have to start that way.
Right on. And that leads with the last question of the interview, and then only the station IDs. What new band news do you have on the Rat Rod front? Isn't anything we haven't covered so far in this interview?
Any new news? Well, we are working on new material. Obviously, we're still promoting Four on the Floor and will be for quite some time. But we are in the process of working on new material. We actually, when we recorded Four on the Floor, we actually recorded a total of 16 songs. We only released 10 because we wanted a short 10-song album. We wanted to be in and out less than 45 minutes. So we picked the 10 songs that worked the best together to accomplish that. So we've got 6 more songs in the can already from this session that are great tunes, cracking tunes that we're going to put out. And we are in the process of working on 5 other tunes we have. So we've got an album's worth of material already that we'll put out sometime in the near future. We just haven't decided when. We're always looking for new opportunities, new show opportunities. Touring and that sort of thing is challenging. We definitely want to do it and get out there. We did a little bit of road work last year. We're going to try to do a little bit more this year. It's so expensive though that it makes it challenging to do that. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on with us. Just continuing to rock and roll and play as many shows wherever we can.
Cool. Thank you very much for your time for this interview over at Mangled Music Radio and Craig's Metal Storm. And now we're going to do the station IDs for this interview.
Okay.
The first one's, hey, this is your name of Rat Rod, and you're listening to Mangled Music Radio.
Mangled
Music Radio.
Okay, I'm writing that down so I don't mess it up. Mangled Music Radio. My name and Mangled Music Radio. Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
Ready when you are.
All right. Hey, everybody. This is Mark from Rat Rod, and you are listening to Mangled Music Radio.
And the second one's for Craig's Metal Storm.
Craig's Metal Storm. All right. Craig's Metal Storm.
Ready when you are.
All right. Hey, this is Mark from Rat Rod, and you are listening to Craig's Metal Storm. Get it?
Cool. Thank you very much for your time. And thank you very much for the interview, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
You have yourself a wonderful rest of your night.
You too. You take care.
Bye.